Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
And what is up, guys? Today we have a special announcement. We have our first sponsorship on the channel. And this episode of the Day After Podcast is sponsored by the Q Skirt. I, you know, Yesterday was my first day using the Q Skirt because that's when I watched the episode. And it's been nice. You have the hood to kind of like you can hold your chips here. You have like pockets near your other pockets. Super nice. Um, it hides your bulge if you have a bulge and you don't want to show it off. Um, it has a lot of great uses. You can show off your ass if you have a nice ass like myself. So yeah, I am. Oh shit, my roommate went out. I was like, Ryan, you're being too egotistical. Um, but yes, I approve of the Q skirt.
Yes. This was the Q episode. This was like they just said Q's going to be in every little thing throughout the entire episode. I'm just want to say because I looked at the confessionals already. He got 15 confessionals in this one episode.
That's got to be a record.
I think so. At least not in a 2 hour. I think there's in a 2 hour or so. I think might have got to like 17 confessionals, but
Yeah,
in less than like a premiere.
right there. No,
Yeah,
no. I mean, Q has had a very pivotal spot in this merge, and then also him being such a big personality and him being so I'm gonna say it, a little like crazy on the island, where not like crazy like he's going around blah blah blah, but like when they're playing a hide and seek and he's like, that tells me this. I thought I read into things too much. It's like,
yeah,
oh, but I mean, like, granted, everyone was going hard for the Survivor game, but it was like, oh, Venus didn't take off her buff, or not Venus. Someone didn't take off their buff while they were hiding. I think it was
yeah. It,
Tiffany.
it was Tiffany. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like, which means her head's not fully in the game. Uh, and it was like that with everyone. It was like her and Venus were just like this, but him, he's like, no, you're a threat. You're a threat.
yeah,
Uh, and I'm like, you just named half. Yes, everyone's a threat at this point.
yeah.
Who's your first target?
Yeah. No, it was ridiculous. That was also like a soup. That I was It was another, I think, because of the fact that it's 90-minute episodes, but that hide and seek was like so long. It just
Was
it kept going, and I was like, okay, they're gonna like showcase like the final couple people, and everyone's gonna rapid fire, but it was like they really focused in on like
every single
everyone.
person.
Yeah,
I mean, props to well, I mean, Hunter, obviously him doing the tree thing. That was even in the next time on Survivor.
yeah,
Like, so we kind of knew with that, but like we gotta give props to Ben for using his shirt as like camouflage, as well as the palm fronds to hide his like lower parts. It was like pretty impressive, especially because like everyone was trying some really good shit
yeah.
on this one.
Yeah, what's annoying is like I totally would have loved to play hide and seek if I was ever on Survivor. I feel like I could never play hide and seek on Survivor now because people are going to be like, "Oh, if he suggests that, he's trying to look to see like what we're all doing, how good we are."
Yeah. It's also a thing where it could have been a ploy to just find the idol. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's what I would kind of do. It's like you're literally going around trying to find something or some people. This is like the perfect excuse to look around the island and be like, "Yo, so like, is there a little parchment with a string in this crevice? Venus, where are you at?" No.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I feel like it's tough though if you're looking at like crevices instead of like hiding spaces though, and someone's hiding nearby and they see you do that, they could then be like,
yeah,
"Oh, they're looking for the idol," instead of
you do like you kind of like
uh-huh.
just showing how good I am. Don't be like you would place your hand there, and then you're like it's like a quick like little scan, and then things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it is crazy that there's still no merge idol that is found.
oh no. Sorry guys, I'm tired. I'm tired. Stayed up all night listening to the new Taylor Swift album or albums because there's like two parts to it. 31 songs, guys.
That's
31 songs.
crazy. That's crazy.
Uh,
I mean, how many? I mean, that's more songs now for Charlie to list off if he ever goes back on the islands.
there's some good ones. We're not going to go into it too much, but yeah, now he has 31 more to add. Um, so he can definitely beat Ben or anyone else
Yeah.
at that game. Um, they have some fun, catchy ones in this one. Or I wouldn't say fun. They were like deep. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much in. This is not the day after Taylor Swift. This
Yeah.
is the day after podcast, which doesn't suggest Survivor, but it's about
Yeah,
Survivor.
yeah. Well, Survivor is like the first thing. It's like the Survivor Day After podcast. It's like
Yeah,
it's kind of there.
yeah. But yeah, so the hide and seek game goes on for a while, and Charlie is the one, he's the first one trying to hide people, find people. Um, you know, and I mean, sometimes how you play certain games is how you play other games. But in a game where it's building relationships and voting people out, yes, lying is a big portion, but there's some people, like I'm better at, let's say, climbing shit than I am with convincing people to do a plan.
Mhm.
The two do not correlation. It was like, Q would probably be like, Ryan would go to any lengths, any heights to accomplish his goals. Fuck, that's actually right. Not truly. Like, I have problems turning against friends. Well, I don't, but now I do. Anyway, PTSD is fun, guys. But yeah. But there is some underlying patterns of how some people do play certain stuff. Like if they're a very aggressive game player, maybe they're more easily going to make bold moves during checkers or chess or things like that. But what are your thoughts about the whole reading into this? Or this was just Q and Venus just trying to sound smarticles?
I think it was just trying to sound smarticles and look into things a little too much. Like no offense to Ben, but I wouldn't say that he's now like one of the two most dangerous players in the game because of how he played hide and seek, which kind of is like what Q is like hinting at of him
Threw
being
a
super
t-shirt
dangerous.
on himself.
Yeah, like
That's
good on Ben for like not getting found and doing that, but like I wouldn't say game wise, I'm like
no.
Ben, oh no now.
It's like well, I mean, if Hunter or Ben want to do like, pull a Tony and like do the spy burrow or the spy shack or the what was the spy tree? Was it a spy tree or spy nest?
Spy Nest.
Yeah, do the spy nest. They have that ability, but other than that, it's like, as long as you're talking about well, make sure to check the tree.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Hunter, that might just be his new like resting spots. It's like
yeah.
right there. He can overhear anything that people might be saying.
Or Ben, it's not even um like I said, they're at the water well and they're talking. That's just right here. Yes. No. Uh, I mean, being able to hide and stuff, it's a useful skill, but like when it comes to a social game, not too much. But I mean, I did like the fact that they went hard at it. It wasn't as simple as, oh, just this. Maybe they don't really do like games like that for challenges anymore.
Mhm.
Um, there are some old school ones that I wish they kind of brought back, but like it'd be funny if that just becomes like a fun little like challenge that they do. I know for them it's like now it's all about like either obstacle course, endurance, or puzzles. That's basically you're getting one of the three or
Yeah.
all three. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely interesting. Let's move on, I suppose. I mean, to be honest, the first thing I wanted to talk about honestly was who went home, to be completely fair, because I was so shocked going in. Like I did not think that Tevin, of all people, uh especially, I mean, he had a great premiere, like, and a great
yeah,
focus, and then I do think he kind of like lost his edits moving forward, but I figure like, oh, they're just trying to hide him now until later and then maybe bring him back. But no, they it was
yeah.
I was so shocked that this was his boot episode.
Yeah, it was a little obviously because like I know I chose Mo as my winner pick, but this dude was like my real winner pick. Mo was strategic, and also I was like, oh, I think they're cool. Also, I thought I saw them at the Bryson one. Maybe they were there, and I was like, no, her, because Ben was too obvious to choose as a winner pick. I don't think Ben is winning the game just based on edit because
Yeah.
he just kind of the edit is making him like a side character, but I feel like Tevin, especially like the episode beforehand, was starting to pave him more as that, more of a protagonist and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, Especially, I don't know if I was just reading into things too much, um, but that's like kind of the name of the game of this episode. But with what's their face? With Liz starting to like talk and stuff and being like, it's kind of like this. I thought, oh, Liz is actually gonna get eliminated in this episode. Turned out not to be the case. But
No, she
yeah,
ends up
Tevin,
really being the one driving it, the
yeah,
elimination. So
yeah. And I mean Tevin was in a good place too because there was that six, even though Q was unhinged. It was like if you go against the six, you're gone. Tevin was never giving him that kind of energy where it was like, no, no, I'm with the six. I'm totally with the six.
yeah,
Even though Q is like, it's kind of one of the things where it's like, if you're against the six, we're going to take you out, which is
yeah.
technically going against the six.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's honestly it's a weird strategy. It's that there's the six, and then if you go against it, you get taken out, and then they interview someone else to get put into the six. The six is the most dangerous alliance that has ever existed, but not for the other players, for the people in the
for anyone
alliance.
in it. It's like, Charlie put it right, it's like the most unstable, like, final six that could ever happen. I mean, it already, you know, well, then again, like it was with that split tribal, it's always tricky when it's like, oh, five on one side, six on the other, or no, it was six on both sides. It's like because like numbers and all that going around, and it's like on paper it made more sense to get rid of Hunter in a sense,
Hmm.
but sometimes Survivor's not that simple.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the right time to get rid of Hunter. I think, especially after you won that challenge they might be starting to be like, okay, there might have to be a time we have to turn on this dude. But I think Hunter is still in a pretty decent spot in the sense of like he has his idol, as well as like he can win a lot of these challenges. And I think there's still so much craziness going on, especially with Q. Like
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, Q kind of survived this round, but it's like I think that some people are like, how do we I know we have like plans and whatnot with Q, but I think it might be time that we start talking about avenues that don't involve Q because I
Yeah.
think he's such an unreliable alliance member right now.
Yeah, we can't go down the Avenue Q.
No, Avenue Q is, you know,
That was a musical reference for anyone who doesn't,
yeah,
who doesn't get
yeah.
it.
I was trying to like see if I can make a joke out of it using puppets and whatnot, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I mean,
sorry
he's
guys.
not the
I
puppet
failed you.
master. Yeah.
He's not the puppet master. I don't know.
Um,
He's still able to get his way.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
like
wanted to ask you because there's been a lot of discourse and a lot of division between this. Do you think you trying to quit at tribal council was a strategy, or was that him actually trying to quit in that moment?
I don't think he was actually trying to quit. Um, I will say sometimes it's tough to get a read on the dude because like his mind changes so much and like sometimes you wonder how he draws to that conclusion.
Uh-huh.
I saw it as like maybe there is because I don't think like Hugh is a bad person or anything like that. I think
Uh-huh.
he's very I'm trying to like when it comes to this game, he's very like over he's overplaying a little bit and like
Yeah.
looking into things too much and like a little aggressive. Not like bad aggressive, but like aggressive overthinking,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But I don't know, maybe it was something where he might have meant it. It was like, hey, vote me off. So, because feel like I screwed up everyone's game. Maybe it was like a moment of weakness, but it's like something where, oh, it wasn't like he actually meant it. It was more like that's what he felt in the moment.
I think that he did it intentionally with the thoughts that he could see who if his allies are willing to flip on him if he said that.
I could see a confessional the next
Which
episode.
yet again I think is terrible. Should not no one should go out there and do that because that's
Yeah,
bad gameplay. But I think that is where he is going to try to say, and then we're going to get Kenzie and Tiffany being like, "What the heck?" And then they're just mad at him, and now they actually do want to vote him because because of
yeah,
that.
no. I love this also just is perfect duality between Joe and I. I'm like, oh, maybe he actually meant it. And Joe's like, no, this dude is just kind of goes with the differences between Joe. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I think he might have actually meant it. There's some good in his heart. And Joe's like, no, this is all ploy.
No, I mean that's the Q's whole thing has been he wants to change, be a game changer. He's trying out for Game Changers 2. Um,
I think they do bring him back for a future season because
yeah,
he does give a lot of good entertainment. We're still talking about him.
yeah.
Um,
This
they gave
episode
him,
is all about Q in my opinion. There's other
yeah,
things, but it's Q's show.
exactly. Like he's the guy who's been one getting now definitely the most confessionals, but also like he's the one where he's been at the core of so much of a narrative going into this show, where it's like that's all really because like he's influencing it, but I think also like as an audience member, I'm always curious, what is Q up to, or like what's he gonna do next? So I think Q definitely comes back, whether or not he does good in his second season, or if the team is like, yo, do we Q? I mean, uh,
Yeah. He has given me like maybe a modern day coach vibes. Like he's kind of this really kooky kind of leader figure of his group in some regards that kind of drives people a little insane, but for some reason still there, pretty much there for the entertainment value, but thinks he's playing this really amazing strategic game. Um, that might not necessarily be doing it, but he keeps saying it through his eyes. Um, I feel like also maybe Philip Shepard from Caramoan is another example. I
yeah,
feel,
or Ryan and Heroes versus Villains.
yeah,
No, my group chat has called me, or like we compared ourselves from people from the actual Heroes versus Villains, and it was like almost unanimous that they labeled me the coach, which I'm like,
yeah,
well, fuck. I mean, I like Coach Wade, but like at the same time, I'm like, uh,
yeah.
but
uh,
yeah, um, no, I think I do like Q, like just like watching. I mean, like the Q skirt thing was funny in my opinion, where like
mhm,
how he like obviously he's joking around, but like how serious he plays it up. It was like, the Q skirt, it's gonna be on, QFC and everything. QFC,
yeah,
which is if you didn't know, it's like one of those shopping networks where they just sell a bunch of things. It's like if you call right now. Um, but yeah. They even were like, Jeff, you don't get one because we got there is another big thing that happened here. This was a first in the new era, the
hmm
whole Rice thing,
yeah,
where people didn't want to step down for, Rice to fuel themselves in this game.
Yeah. And they brought it back to everyone's competitive. Like you should have seen this game of hide and seek we all played.
Yeah. But there's got to be a thing of like, because Liz knew that she couldn't win that challenge. And so did Q. Q was like, yeah, I'm big enough to understand, like, I can't win this, so I might as well get food. So we have food.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it was definitely not just that, but a lot of ego, where it's like I'm not gonna say, but like, the people that fell out early during this challenge, I'm like, yeah, you definitely like should have
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
because
I
it's like,
I was so surprised that Ben and Maria didn't sit out because, like, no offense to them, but I could kind of tell that there's going to be at least 3 or 4 other people who are going to last longer than them.
yeah. Like the thing is, it's like I don't want to say, oh, Hunter was definitely gonna win this, but like I think Venus definitely had a good shot because like,
Yeah.
she's white, whatnot. I think definitely the final three, like, I think that Charlie had a decent shot at winning. Looking at everyone else, Kenzie won an endurance challenge last time, so definitely possible. Tiffany could also see. I'm just kind of like Tevin could have seen. Um, but like, there are some people who's like, you gotta know that something like that, if that's not your challenge and y'all are hungry,
Yeah.
just don't do it. It's like if I if it was something that I knew I couldn't do, and even if I knew for a fact I was in danger, I'd probably still. But I do think in this game where there's not really a set, there are quote unquote alliances, but those
Hmm.
alliances are a little wishy-washy. So
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit of it's more voting blocks and like what are we feeling in the moment
Yeah.
uh, in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I don't know the full stats, but I think everyone who sat out of the Rice has not been voted out in that episode. Um,
No, there's this one person, my winner pick of
oh,
44,
oh, oh, yeah.
good old Kane.
Yeah, yeah. Kane was the one, but besides that, everyone else has been saved. So the odds are in your favor that if you sit out, people will say thank you and at least give you one round.
I mean, like there is a benefit of doing it because some people are like, yo, if it might be like, oh, they're not playing as hard. Like I think, and that's the thing when it comes to these games. I feel like you can justify whatever narrative you want in your head, whether someone's a threat or not.
uh,
But like, because like if someone's sitting out, it could be a thing of like, okay, maybe they're not playing as hard as I thought. Like Q sitting out, it's like I don't think it's like that Q felt he was safe. It was like, no, you can't do the challenge. All right, maybe he is not really trying at these challenges. So why keep him around, or why maybe keep him around longer until he becomes too much of a nuisance, or like a better time to get rid of him. Because I will say, going into these, it's like, and we got to give some props to Venus because it's like she's been having a target on her back this entire ever since the Earn the Merge, but they
mhm.
always find some other reason to get rid of someone else.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there's
She's
always a
get
bigger fish.
she's getting to the point where if she survives a couple more rounds, I don't know if they ever take her out. I think she just goes to the end
Possible.
and becomes a 0 vote finalist.
I think especially because the Namu tribe is definitely low on the
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah. Nami
Because
tribe.
I think it's just Nami, my bad. Um, they're all so like because I think it's just her and Hunter that are left from there. Like we have nine, we have three of the purple tribe, we have four of the green tribe,
We only
three,
have
four,
three.
yeah, so
We only have 3 of the green tribe, right?
no, four,
We
because we
have
got
we got Ben, Charlie, and Maria. Those are the only 3 left in
Ben,
the
Charlie,
game.
Maria. Oh, so it's 3-3-3.
Yeah.
Who else? Sorry, I have the list right here.
Yeah. We're
Well, you got
actually
Marie.
we're dead even in terms of tribe divisions right now.
Really? Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about Liz.
Yeah.
That wasn't a dig on Liz, but I think that's just kind of like how under the radar she's kind of been, even though she was given some good stuff this episode, I will say.
Yeah. Well, she
Um,
definitely is quite far behind in terms of confessionals, so makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. But, I think this game, you never really know who's going out, especially it's like with the top three, the confessionals might be different at this point, but the top three all being through original Banu trap, not Banu, Yanu.
But the
It's,
Banu tribe, let's just call it that because
Banu was on there.
that was the first
So,
four episodes where the Banu was the Banu tribe.
yeah. So like my math was wrong, but I still got the right answer. Uh, but yeah, because you have those original three. Um, and like they're kind of imploding, but at the same time, there's all this other stuff that's going around where it's like, oh, there's Tiffany's name is being thrown out, but then it's also like, well, do we get rid of Charlie? Maybe not. And then it's like, but Ben, and it's like all these names are being thrown out. So it's like, I would say, I know this season does not have a good reputation right now, but it's interesting to watch in the sense of like, I have no idea what the pecking order is. I feel
Yeah.
like it could be, anyone each episode, except for probably Kenzie. I'd say
Yeah.
she and Ben, I do see actually making it further in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have Kenzie now as like who I think is winning the game. It's just
Same.
she to me like, and I feel like there's a gap, like a pretty big gap for me for between Kenzie and everyone else. Like there's other people who I'm like they win if they get to the end. I don't think they're getting to the end though. Hunter wins if he gets to the end. I honestly don't think he's getting to the end. I mean, he's going to have to win and play his idol and to get himself there throughout the whole thing.
Which is possible, but yeah, like you said, it's
You don't bet
still
on that.
winning out is never a good strategy to make it to the end. Because
Yeah.
it's like some people are like, oh, well, that's all you did. Granted, I think there's a way to spin it, but I don't think it's as convincing as an argument as someone who had to. There's more. It's weird, but like some people view there's more strength in vulnerability than there is in strength. And it's like,
Uh,
yes, but also no. But like, it isn't just this isn't the challenge where, you win the game by being the best at all the different challenges and surviving all of those. This is
mhm.
Survivor where it is a lot of social politics and like all that strategic stuff. And while Hunter does obviously have strategy and stuff, I wouldn't say that's what shines from him. I think it's hard to because the gameplay is a little messy.
Yeah.
That's an understatement. The gameplay is messy. Like, after Hunter won this challenge, they're all on the beach and then they're like splitting off and then he's like, "Oh, you want to talk to everyone without me?" And then people going over and like Venus being like, "No, let's talk this." Or and then Q changing his mind is like, "No, we have to get out Tiff." Or like, talking to Hunter is like, "I don't want you to be out of the loop." And Hunter's like, "No, we got to do." And then like, it just could be how also it's framed. Like I'm pretty sure the edit also do is playing a factor into that. But like right now the gameplay is so messy. Um
Uh, yeah, definitely. Also, I mean, I think it was Venus though that said it, but that was like the first time Hunter talked strategy or was like visibly shown talking strategy was when he heard that Tevin was potentially getting taken out there. So, um, yeah, I wonder if do you think he would have potentially played the idol on him? I mean, I know we didn't get that, but do you think that there was any consideration from Hunter to try to save Tevin? Because I do think that he needed Tevin in the game longer.
yeah. I think with the craziness, I can see it both ways. Like I still think that Tevin was a long shot to go. because there was just so much else going on. It's like, do we really want to keep Q around? I'm surprised that only two people got votes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that we didn't get not rogue votes, but like because I know when we got the whisperings and everything, everyone was
Yeah.
kind of like going these different directions and whatnot. But I'm
Yeah.
surprised that with all these different fractures and everything in this tribe, where it's like I'm surprised that not that Q didn't get a few votes. Maybe Tiffany gets a vote. Because like there was just so much going on, and like
Yeah.
even though it was a live tribal, it felt like when people were about to vote, people were like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It ended still kind of in the midst of the chaos. Like it didn't seem like there was a consensus by a group. It felt like it
Yeah,
was just like, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore. Everyone's like, I don't know.
let's go with the original plan of Tevin.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously Tevin can't nor wanted to vote for himself. He was surprised, I think, that it was actually him. Hunter was obviously surprised. I think Hunter seems like the kind of dude that probably would play the idol on an ally. It's
Uh,
just, sometimes you don't really expect people to do the things. Like reading people is hard,
yeah.
especially when there's so much chaos. Yeah. Uh, it was like um, I was kind of like with Jeff, where it was like when Q was like, "No, y'all should probably vote for me," and like when Q was saying that, it makes sense in his head, but to everyone else, it was just so out of the blue. I was like, "What are you thinking? Why? This doesn't make sense." Um, I think that definitely adds to like what this chaotic tribe was, and we haven't definitely seen anything like it because usually the people that are saying, "Oh, go vote me" or something are usually the people that go home and
Yeah.
quit. So like it's just this weird circumstance thing. Um, how we're halfway through at least the contestants. And we kind of talked about who do we think are going to win this game because I think both you and I agree, yeah, it's probably Kenzie based on the edit, based on the gameplay and narrative of everything. I think Charlie potentially, or if
I
I'm
think
just looking at the
Maria I
list,
think Maria has a
Maria
chance.
has a good shot. Um, and then possibly Hunter, but I think a lot more things have to go his way and he needs more to his
Yeah.
resume.
Yeah.
But
He,
I can
he's
see him being like, yeah,
Yeah, he has to become the greatest challenge performer pretty much Survivor's ever seen because he's gonna have to get himself all the way there pretty much on his own.
I mean, if anyone can do it, I think it is him because like,
Yeah.
his entire like house is an Etsy,
Yeah.
like of like, these are like actual challenges that he has made.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
like
He he
there's
he
one
he
thing of
gets
like,
he gets
yeah,
one mistake. He gets one mistake of losing a challenge with his idol, and then that's it.
yeah. Maybe more though if the idol is out there, but no one's really looking. But I feel like
Yeah.
Hunter, especially after this episode, might be trying to find a second just because of all the
Yeah.
craziness. Um, yeah. But all right, because I've also been hearing rumors, or like not rumors, people talking and stuff, of like where it placed on their list. It's in the bottom 10 for some people I've been talking to
For
um,
this the season.
for this season.
Um
They say it's a bottom 10. I'm like, we're still well, no, we're
yeah.
in episode 8, so there's like 5 more. That's including the finale. I think it's too early to call if it's bottom 10. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, the gameplay is messy, and I feel like, yeah, we're getting a lot of stuff, but sometimes it's like a lot of one thing, and that's partially
Uh
due to like what we've talked about before. I don't know. I
yeah.
don't think it's on the top half of the list.
No.
I think it's on the bottom half of the list. I don't know if it's lower 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in that conflicted stage of it where it's like I definitely did not like the first 4 episodes. Like the first 4 episodes honestly made me not want to watch the rest of the season. If we weren't doing this podcast, I might not finish the season after those first 4 episodes. Like there's a very good chance that happens. Um, but like, and then like this episode, I thought it was fun for the most part, but also like I didn't really like how terrible everyone's playing the game. like the gameplay of it just felt just so bad. Like it felt like they need to pause the game and go take a Survivor 101 class and then come back. Like that's how it felt after watching this episode. Um
Yeah.
so so I'm definitely conflicted. I mean, I have to look through all the seasons, but I mean, it's definitely low. I think I still prefer it over 41, to be honest.
I think because this game is, or this one is definitely a lot easier to follow. So I think I kind of agree with you there. But like for me, it's like you can give like a rough estimate of where it lies on the spectrum of like your favorite list. But at the same time, it's like we don't have the full story. Like
Yeah,
it's different than like, you know, a movie. Like let's say if there's a part one, part two, like they're two separate movies. But like with a movie, you get the whole complete chapter and you can like rank it. But because they're episodes of something, we don't have the full story of at least this. So I always say it's really tough, but I will to like place it. But I do definitely think it's not a great season. I wouldn't say it's a I don't want to say it's not a good season either, because I'm
uh,
still holding out hope.
yeah,
And there has been some, and you know, this season has given us some cool stuff. Like even this episode, Jeff is on the Jelensky train. He's like, it's been several.
yeah. What is happening? Like, why does Jeff
He is
love?
the best first boot in the history of the game.
Yeah, he has made the biggest impact any first boot has ever made. Like we thought that Zach had a huge impact because he was then also in an episode 2 in a way because Marianne mentioned him and they had a whole thing about her crushing on him. But no, Jelensky is getting quoted by Jeff and referenced by Jeff way
They
later
named
into the
episode.
game.
They were also. I'm all on board with them calling Survivor 47 Survivor 47.
Several.
Um, that's what the fans are gonna call it. Just be honest. So you might as well just play into it.
Yeah.
Um, has the list come out for 47? Because I feel like they would be filming right now.
No, they're not filming now. They usually film it's like I think end of May, beginning of June.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's no, because they usually have a little promo for us at the finale. So it has to be, I think, early May at least. I mean, at the latest, I think it
Yeah.
has to be early May. So I think
Yeah. Oh,
it's gonna start soon.
I know sometimes their like promo isn't necessarily showing the contestants for the one in this like cycle where it's like the one right at the end of a batch and then going into the next one. Like sometimes they don't fully show like the cast or anything there.
I think like New Era, they've definitely been better at it. Like obviously they could have done it with season 40. With 40 so like with 43 with you know like with 41 they didn't have a cast because COVID and everything.
Uh,
For so with 43 we saw a little bit of like Carla and stuff. We saw a little bit of, you know, the people in their early stages of their games because it was still
yeah,
filming. With 45 we got a little something because they were even like, "Oh, we saw Bruce, but we didn't get to see the full extent of 44 when it was being shown." So I think it's definitely about to film if it hasn't filmed already. So I think the cast list
yeah,
should be out soon. I don't know how to
yeah,
get it,
yeah. Well,
but
I know that 43 they were like less than a week into filming when that started
yeah,
because they wanted to have because that's why like we saw the Carla like seems like she's a villain because they were like, oh, we got some villainous content confessionals, so let's just put it in. But that's not actually what they wanted to show in the edits.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's tough to say. Yeah, because I know 47, 48. 48 will be the 25th anniversary of the show, which
Yeah.
I know like everyone is focusing on, the milestone of 50 seasons, but like 25 years, I mean 5 years of a show is pretty impressive, but 25 years is such a big milestone. I I do think I know like they've been very I don't want to say anti-returning players because they do want new people to like shine and whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I do think 48 and 50 will be all-star seasons.
It would be nice. I mean, if they want to kind of be like this is the new era, the first All-Star season was season 8.
Yeah.
Go 48. Like it's All-Stars 2, whatever they want to call it.
Uh, it's really tough. But I do think, yeah, they're gonna do something huge for 25 years.
Uh,
Um, Obviously not another Winners at War because granted
yeah.
they still have a bunch of people they could still use,
Yeah.
but I think
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna finally do Survivor Legends and bring Jelensky back. That's why
Zelensky
we're getting so much legend and
legends.
stuff about Jelensky and Jeff
He
referencing
goes
him.
from he goes from first boot to winning the game.
Uh, I've already said if I ever played like any online game or anything with Jelensky, I am teaming up with him and I'm taking him all the way.
Yeah. You said it on here, so
Yeah,
we know that some org peeps watch our stuff. So it's like
yeah,
you're stating it outright, correct? Well, granted,
yeah. I don't
people know
care. Yeah, yeah, it's happening, and no one can stop the Jelensky train. Like if I'm teamed up with Jelensky, it's gonna be amazing.
yeah. Uh, but no, I mean, well, I mean, one of my conditions of unretiring is if a certain player does play in a certain season, whether or not that's possible. I did, I can confirm that they are interested in doing this season or a mini
Oh, see,
from
look at
what
that.
Matt told me, because Matt talked to this person.
Yeah.
Or like because Matt was like, "Oh yeah, I've done. That's why they call me the Cookie King." And and so like they are aware of it, and they do seem interested. But unless they do favorites versus Vanquish or fans versus favorites versus Vanquish, and
Mhm.
then also Kristen choosing me to be
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
And I think Kristen also knows my conditions.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she knows both conditions for me returning back to orgs.
Yeah. Yeah. I know kind of the rough dates for one of the next fans versus favorites things, but I won't say that here, obviously. But
Yeah, it's not
I've been
your
told. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's definitely there's stuff going on in the timeline.
definitely, definitely. But I also don't think, well, we won't get into much because we still haven't done my tell all for heroes versus villains. We haven't done well, there's like another person that we haven't done. Like Joe's been busy with Big Brother. He's about to go into the final week, so like his schedule is going to free up. We'll also do his tell all if he wants to do it. I feel like you
Hmm.
definitely should.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Um,
definitely a lot to talk about this season,
yeah,
especially compared to like Candyland. Like, there's a lot.
yeah. So that being said, about we're gonna pivot back to this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, so I think we pretty much talked about everything. What are the confessional counts? I know that Q
Yes.
he's probably in the lead at this point.
Yes. So first off, I'll say Tevin ends the season with 27 confessionals. Um,
Yeah,
so to be honest, way smaller than I thought he was going to get going into this.
same.
So
Well, I mean,
very
after the first episode, definitely, because
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah, he
because he
had
got
he had
such a
seven
prominent one.
he had seven confessionals in the first episode, so it just felt like okay, Tevin's the narrator of the season. He's going to tell us how everything's going throughout the entire game, and it was like nope. He then suddenly like slowed down and got a two confessional in the next episode, zero confessionals in the next episode. Like it was crazy. But uh, but yeah, you're right. Q has the most confessionals now with 53 confessionals. Um, having gotten that 15 confessionals in this episode, which is bonkers. Um,
Massive number.
the next is Kenzie with 44. Now get this, no longer top three Yanu. The number three spot is now Charlie with 42 confessionals.
Way to go.
Yep. So finally,
Nothing against Tiffany, but like, I like it when it changes up a little.
yeah, yeah. Tiffany is number three with 41, so she's only one confessional behind Charlie, but at least there's some movement that happened.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and then let's see. Who's next? So I believe it looks like it's Venus is next with 35 confessionals. Um, and then Hunter with 28 confessionals. Um, and then it is Maria with seven. Oh no, sorry, it's Ben with 24 confessionals, Maria with 17 confessionals, and then Liz with 14 confessionals.
Hmm. That's the one thing, and with Maria specifically, that's why originally I didn't say her winning the game. It's because we do see a lot
Yeah.
of her, but we haven't really gotten too much. We've heard her even talk strategy, but
Uh-huh.
it's like she hasn't been shown that much, in my opinion. Like she's been shown, but we haven't been hearing from her too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like she's only in the episode like a little bit, like in terms of confessionals, but they always feel like they're more important than some of these other people who are getting confessionals that don't really, that are just like just to have a confessional.
Yeah,
Like she's not getting the filler confessionals. Like
yeah,
it looks like they're not giving they haven't like just been like let's inject more Maria into the season. It's whereas like I think Hunter's had probably some stuff. Q clearly has had a lot of this stuff. Ben has had some stuff. Charlie like all these people have had like that very clear like inject more content. Whereas I feel like Maria's has been like not touched in terms of like let's get more Maria in here. It's like
yeah.
if we saw the hour-long episodes of Survivor, I feel like we would be seeing the exact same amount of Maria confessionals and content as we are right now.
Very solid point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and then MVP and LVP. LVP, it has to be Q, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I mean, there's no other option in my opinion. Like it was his episode, but also it was a bad episode for him. Like,
Like the Q skirt would be his best thing from the episode, but like that was
yeah,
just funny, and then we got to see a different side of him because he's been very serious throughout most of the game, so it was kind of
yeah.
funny
Well, no, he's
seeing.
been he's been pretty comical. The previous
Well, I mean, on
episodes,
the bench, the sit out bench. But I mean, I
yeah,
wouldn't say that's your biggest takeaway from Q
yeah,
is like, but I feel like the Q skirt, maybe because it involved prop comedy as
yeah,
well with his hoodie. But like, no, I mean, the line where he's like, I was told if I'm not in the fight, don't talk. Whatever the quote was,
uh,
during the earn the merge, that was funny.
mm,
But I think I think you don't when you think of Q, you don't think funny most of the time. So
yeah.
I think this kind of like shaped his narrative a little.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe this was all part of his social game. Like the Q skirt, he's gonna get to the end and he's gonna be like, if you vote for me to win $1 million, you're all getting Q skirts. I'm gonna make this a big thing, and you guys are all gonna be on the ground floor. Come on in. It's
Yeah, yeah.
okay, but then
Um,
for MVP, who are you thinking?
it's tough. I'm gonna say maybe because he's just been in a much better position. Also, I just want to. He went up ranking in the confessionals when it's been dominated. I'm gonna give it to Charlie.
Uh,
It's not. No one really wowed me this episode. Maybe Liz a little bit,
yeah.
but I'm gonna say just Charlie.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't think I would be saying this, but I am going to give the MVP to Liz. I do think that she saw the Tevin move and made sure it happens. Um,
Yeah,
so and I think it's a huge move. I think taking out Tevin is like a
yeah.
resume, like like gold star, like circle it, like oh my gosh, kind of move.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Also, we didn't touch on it too much, mostly because it didn't end up happening and they didn't get the rice. But um, I'd be remiss if we missed out on talking about it. But the whole thing with, all right, no one has to sit out, but two of you would have to give up your vote.
Yeah,
And, like, honestly, that's definitely a worse deal.
yeah,
Um, on the surface. Like
yeah,
everyone, no one was even entertaining the idea of that. It was like, no, no,
yeah.
no, no, no.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that it's publicly letting people know you can't vote. If because whenever you lose a vote, but it's like in secret, like that's fine because if people don't know, then they're not
Yeah.
going to gum for you. But if they know that you can't vote, it becomes a lot easier to get just people saying, "Well, they can't do anything. Let's just take them out."
Also, with how chaotic this cast is, it's like
Yeah.
I don't think you risk it because you really don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it I it's kind of weird that like everyone knows that Liz can't really eat and like because of all her allergies, and yet
Yeah,
no one was willing to do it to help Liz be able to
like I
eat.
said, there should have been two more people easily. I know, like even
Yeah.
Charlie was like, "Is there? If there's another person, like, should have like committed to it, and then it might have helped his
Yeah.
case." Because
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, there's three, then maybe there's one more. It's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Ben or whether it was Maria or someone. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that covers everything on here. Next time on Survivor, it looks like, more chaos, more chaos coming through. So yeah.
Yeah, that's just this whole season. It's just chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Um, anything else you would like to mention or whatnot or no?
Um, I don't think so. I think we pretty much talked about everything. Yeah, I mean I'm definitely more into the season after honestly the last like two or three episodes than I was in the first four. So it has gotten better.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's gonna do it here for this episode of the Day After Podcast, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.